you can hear bumping. It's not that. Can you hear me now? You got it working, okay? Amazing. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. My mouse isn't working also, so I'm here anyway. It's fine now? Okay. I know what the hum is. What about now? Can you hear me now? Okay. You can hear me now. Excellent. All right. Go figure. I do not know what just happened. But it happened. So here we are. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry about the delay. I was trying to go vertical with this new plug-in, and it does not work. When I turned on my OBS, my camera was upside down, and I couldn't hear anything. So I thought I had it fixed, but we're here. Yep, it's the toy I was playing with last night. But I see now that's not going to work. If I want to go vertical, I just need to do it from my phone. Okay. Well, hello, Monkey Juice. Welcome to the show. Sorry it took me so long to get going here. We have a interesting bid for sanity tonight. I hope everyone is doing well and happy. There. Is that hum still there? Rachel Floyd, welcome to the show. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. My voice is still crappy. I still have no low end. No singing tonight, sorry. Good. Okay. It just took it a minute to catch up, that's all. We're going. We're going for it now. Only when you are speaking. Okay. That means the noise canceling thingy is working. That'll make it better. Amanda says, hi, Squatch and Monkey and Rachel. I thought I might go vertical tonight with my new little toy, but it didn't work. So I apologize. I tried. I don't know what the malfunction is. I mean, in theory, it was working, just nothing was syncing up with the OBS. So go figure. Ugh. Got to do that thing. There it is. I tell you, technology is a pain in the tail sometimes. Yeah, we'll have to figure it out some other time. Thanks. How's everybody doing? How's your week going so far? It's hump day. It's the middle of the week. I feel like it's Monday. For real. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Well, that's all right, because I just keep on going on. But I do have a nice hot cup of coffee. Half a hot cup of coffee. And I am rather happy about that. Amanda says, happy hump day. I'm great. I'm great, too. It's good to be here. It's good to be alive on a Wednesday. Ugh. There. Where is everybody? Oh, there's 8 people here. Hit that like button, everybody. Hit the like, subscribe, share, support. Super chats in the chat box. You know how it goes. You know the drill. You know the old 1, 2, 3, 4. Amanda says, I saw in the other chat that Kendra said Mike checked into rehab. Well, that's good. Maybe that solved whatever problem they had going on. Maybe they popped over here. I do not know. But I think he was having some seizures earlier in the week, so maybe they're fixing whatever the issue is in rehab. I'm assuming that's physical rehab. I might be wrong. It might be like detox rehab, but I think probably for rehabbing the mind. Anyway, prayers to Kendra and Michael, and I hope that they're doing well. She said detox. Oh, okay. I don't know what that's all about. I hadn't heard anything about that. Maybe alcohol. Might be. We have all kinds of things happening in this world right now. Trump keeps going up as they keep trying to pull him down. That's always fun to watch. The more they throw at him, the more popular he gets. His polls just keep going up and up and up and up. His donations keep going up and up and up and up. Get this. He got convicted last week. Within 24 hours, he raised $200 million in donations. To be fair, $100 million of that came from one person, but the other $150 million came from small donations, like $20 here, $30 there, $5 here. So that's a lot of people donating. That's pretty interesting. And then he went to the fight, the UFC fight with Dana White and Joe Rogan and all those guys. He got a 5-minute standing ovation when he walked in the room. And that night, while backstage with Dana White, he joined TikTok. And in 24 hours after joining TikTok, he had 4 million viewers, which Joe Biden has been on TikTok since presumably the beginning of his presidency, and he's in the couple of thousand, maybe 3,000 viewers. Trump got 4 million overnight. His first day on TikTok, 4 million viewers. Amazing. I think that's hilarious. That's what it sounds like when backfires go off in Washington. They do not know what to do about all that. I think it's hilarious. What do you think? Where do you land on the political spectrum? You can learn all about that stuff in real time and with explanations on my new show, Politics, which is coming out this month. Politics with Jake. Because Trump is the shiznit. I hope I never have to say that word again. Don't sound right coming out of my mouth. Don't fit right on my tongue. That's all right. I get the sentiment and I appreciate it. My God, it's hot in here. Whew. My mustache is sweating. That's how hot it is. You like the name? Thank you. Thank you. I puzzled over that for a while. I'm going with it. I didn't want to use hyperbole because the hyperbole is for sarcasm and nihilism and that sort of thing. I wanted to be serious about it because we got an election coming up and somebody needs to tell the truth about what's going on. I don't know if anybody else is going to, but I will. Both sides. Left wing, right wing, same bird. Like Bill Hicks said, which puppet do you like better, the one on the left or the one on the right? Hey, there's one guy holding both puppets. Amanda says there's 8 people in the channel and there's only 4 likes. Y'all come on, 4 of you hadn't been doing your job. Now hit the like button. It's free. Come on, help a brother out. It's going to be a slow Wednesday. I can feel it in my bones. That's all right. It's been a slow week. I'm still recovering from being sick. I had the old, you know what? My boss gave it to me. That's what kind of employee I am. Just take his sickness from him along with everything else he dishes out. That's okay. I get paid to do that. So. Where's my April at tonight? And my Lisa Reen and Cowboys 8 panel and all those folks. Rachel's here. Caucasian, you ain't talking much. Tell me something. Tell me what's going on in the world. I'd like to be playing y'all a song right now. I suppose I could play my hit single. Tell me what you think about this. Moonlit skies and fireworks. People laugh, people flirt all night long. But I just stay. Oh yeah. So I drove down to the local bar where people come in their fancy cars to play their games. But I just stare. Then I saw you sitting there, all alone in that empty chair right next to you. I fell in love. Oh, baby. Boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. I got my life and all my plans, and if you were there, you'd just be in my way. At that bar where we first met, you smiled at me and my palms got wet. You just looked away. But I just stayed. You said, been in love and it never works. I always end up getting hurt, and I ain't doing that no more. There ain't no way. Oh no, 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 no. You stood up to say goodbye, grabbed your hand with a tear in my eye, and I just walked away. But you just stayed. But you looked down and you took my hand and said, boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. I got my life and all my plans, and if you were there, you'd just be in my way. Girl, it ain't gotta be like this. I'd give you everything but just one kiss, and I don't care what you say. I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away. Thank you. I can't believe you hadn't heard that before, Dana. Welcome. That is a single that I just released. And it's coming around. It's called Elizabeth. I'll play it a little bit later on if you didn't hear it all the way through. How are you? How are things on the other side of the world? It's been a crazy start this afternoon. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, and my mouse don't work right now, so I can't change anything. But I can touch a few things, but that's it. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate it. It's a good song. Everybody that hears it seems to like it. But yeah, that's me playing and me singing. There's April. She says, yes, I didn't hear it, but I can rewind it. That's all right. As long as I'll play it again in a little bit. But you've heard it before, I'm sure. She says, I've heard it before, and I think it's lovely. Thank you very much. How are you, April? How are you doing? How's Kevin? How are things and stuff and junk? It's been a rough start to the show today. I'm over my skis. I don't have anything to talk about because I was busy focusing on this new thing, trying to go vertical because that's where all the viewers are. And it screwed up my OBS and it almost left me hanging. But I finally got it working. And it's a little slow and I can't use the right side of my mouse. But other than that, it's functioning. It's a quick fix. So I'm just kind of, while I'm talking to you guys, going over everything, trying to see what the problem is. And if I can fix it while live. I may have to restart this program for it to work right. Let's see. Still ain't functioning. That's all right. We'll put an ad. April says, we are all right. We're still alive. Amen. Looks good so far, Jake. Thank you very much. We're getting there. It was supposed to be vertical, but the plug-in didn't function the way it was supposed to. And it screwed everything up. So now I got to go through and remove that plug-in and get it out of all the system because it's all mixed in with the rest of it. It's a complicated thing. All right. ATL Transparency, what's up, buddy? Have I been evicted? No, sir. No, our fearless leader has. Read the whole thing. No, my mouse didn't quit. The software isn't responding to it. I can click a couple of things, but I can't right-click on anything, which means I can't get in to change this thing up here that's buzzy. No, the mouse is working. It's just not functioning with the software for some reason. But I believe the software is called ATIM, ATIM or ATRIM or something like that. Don't download that and plug it into your OBS unless you know what you're doing because it'll screw everything up. Kevin's home? Good. Hey, Kevin. I am about 150 degrees here in Studio C. My mustache is sweating. It's so hot. I might have to get naked. Well, if a man's going to walk in, bringing food is a good way to go. I'll give you that. Hush. We got it going on. All right. Hello, everybody. What would you like to talk about tonight? Would you like to talk about the fact that Donald Trump joined TikTok the other day and got 4 million viewers in the one day that he's been on TikTok? 4 million viewers. By contrast, President Biden's been on there for quite a while. He's got 3,000 viewers. 3,000 is a lot less than 4 million, just in case you're counting. April says, Kevin said, what's up, everybody? Don't get naked. Oh, come on. I'm pretty when I'm naked. Amanda says, hush, April. Yes, get naked. And Amanda says, hey, Kevin. But hey, just make sure you cover the thing in case. It's covered. Don't worry. It's like a gremlin. If you feed him after midnight, things go bad. Whew. I'm positively wilting over here. Who turned the heat on? The AC is on. April says, I'm laughing hard. Stop it. Okay, if you insist. Good night, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. I still have no voice, so I can't really sing for you guys tonight. I'm still on the back end of the horse, and I don't want to push it because I have a show coming up on the 28th, and I would like to be able to sing that night. So I'm not going to stress it. Just let it take its natural course and heal. You know, the air conditioner works. It's just in the other room. And it is, I'm under lights, so it's very hot in here. It'll cool off directly, though, I'm sure. I was just looking to see if my door was open. That might have been one of the reasons, but it's not. April says, hilarious. Amanda, what does 8-Ball say? Well, ask it. There you go. 8-Ball says no. We had some nice, cool, windy nights, except for last night, says April. Yeah, it's been quite plovely here, except for the past couple of days. It's been kind of hot. 𝕂𝕚𝕝𝕝𝕝𝕝. How's the weather over there in the Czech Republic, Dana? Czech Republic. Is it hot over there as it is here? Are you on the same parallel by the equator as we are? Or are you further away from it? I think 8-Ball's getting smart. It is definitely going to be one of those nights tonight. Sooner or later, something will run across my mind and I'll go off. But right now, I'm an empty well. So we're just going to hang out. April says, Dana, it's good to see you, lovely. Hugs. I got a brand new air compressor yesterday. That was cool. That's a cool thing that happened. Ain't been used a handful of times. It's brand new and it's a pretty big one too. It's about the size of my desk. All I had to do is go pick it up. It's in the 70s. Ooh, nice. Very nice. It gets very hot here. I think it's like 90 degrees right now. Feels like it is anyway. Party time. Oh, yeah. April says hanging out like a loose tooth. Yep, pretty much. Painful and wiggly. Very humid. It rained for like 5 seconds this afternoon. Like one of those summer rains, you know, just a little shower and then it went away. Made everything muggy. 8-Ball says it's most likely party time, Amanda. Most likely. Let's see. There you go. Party time. Kevin Cox says, I'm here, Big Jake. Come on back. You got your ears on? Just like disco. That's right. Panic at the Disco. That's what happens when you have too much, you know what. Dana says, I see raindrops on the window behind you. That's very pretty. Thank you. Check this out. It's a false window. Everyone says, what? I live in a house of cards. It's all fake. I'm really outside in a tent. Oh, 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 it's magic. No, never mind. Don't answer that. Too late. So, got a bunch of cool things coming up here shortly. I have a video getting ready to come out on the theory. There's a theory going around that the kingdom of God has already happened, that the 1,000-year reign of Christ has already happened, and that we're living in the end times, waiting for the judgment day, that we're the people that didn't reign with Christ. And that theory is incorrect, but I'm going to delve into it and give it a good going over, because it's one of those theories that just popped up in the last 10 years. Prior to that, it was never heard of. Nobody ever thought that. But it's tied in with like the flat earth theory and the mud flood theory and a couple of other theories are kind of all on the same level. So I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to do a big video on that. I'm also starting a new political show to bring in the election year that we're in and cover the election up into inauguration. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. Unless it's wildly successful and I get many views and many ads played, and then I will continue doing it. But it's going to be called Politics with Jake. If you have a better name, now's the time to tell me, because I'm getting ready to put that into action. And also, some brand new Hyperboles are going to be coming out in the next month or two. So look for that. At least 10 more. And then the last thing is I'm going to start doing daily devotionals from my phone, because you get a lot of views with shorts. So if you guys want to get in on that. April says, looks like the background setup when Ronnie Millsap sang, "There's a stranger in my house. Somebody's watching. They won't leave me alone," or something like that. That's a good song. Yeah. There's a stranger in my house, too. It's me. Six likes, but 8 people in the chat. That means 2 people don't like us very much. The name is great. Thank you. I think so. I like it. So we got 4 new projects going up. That's why I've been so busy putting all that together. Why you hadn't seen any new Hyperboles in the member section, because I'm working on it. I want to put out quality, not quantity. What did I say I was calling it? Politics. Kind of like a, politics for the sake of politics. Politics. Like a lunatic, but for politics. You are a mite strange, says Kevin. I am a mite strange, but that's all right. It takes all kinds to make the world go round, and if people like me didn't exist, there'd be nothing to do. People like you exist to keep me out of trouble, you see? When my mouth overloads my ass. He's not strange, he's a well. I'll let that one be. Deep and moist at the bottom. I'm a well. It's a deep subject for a shallow mind. Oh, we got a $9.99 super chat from Kevin Cox. Thank you, Kevin Cox. I appreciate you, sir. It says nothing, but it could say something. April says, Kevin, really? Really? Rolling on the floor. Well, ... I'm something. Dana says, I will be surprised if there will be a presidential election this year. The situation is very tense and chaotic in the U.S. I could see martial law instead. My opinion, too much chaos. I don't disagree with you, Dana. There's a lot of strangeness going on right now, which is why I'm getting into it, because why wouldn't I? If I didn't capitalize on the situation, I wouldn't be much of a capitalist. But you are not wrong. They are trying right now to put Donald Trump in prison. And if he goes to prison, he's most likely going to win the election, but have to run it from behind bars. And all of his supporters, which are many more than the left thinks is supporting him, they're not going to stand for that. And it might just be that they finally get that class of people to where they're ready to riot and revolt. And I caution you, all this talk about white people and patriarchy and all of that stuff that's going on around the world, I caution you, write it down that Jake said so. When white people decide they want to do something, you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. You better be happy every day of your life that they are lethargic, well-fed, and have plenty to do. Because if you'll go back and look over history at all of the world-changing events, white people were at the forefront of those things. All of them. And they were not pretty. So put the brakes on if you can. Amanda says, and I'm not a white person, so don't be saying I'm racist. Kevin is a peacock, says April. You go, Kevin. Thanks, man, says Amanda. Amanda says, LOL, April. And April says, thanks, Kevin, love. Yes, thank you very much. I needed that $9 tonight. I worked really hard for that $9. Yes, I am a peacock, says Kevin. And Dana says, I see martial law followed by dictatorship inevitably. Well, we're already in a dictatorship. That's already what's happening. Joe Biden is a dictator. Go look at his policies. Go look at the fact that over 50% of the United States citizens do not agree with what he's doing in the United States. That is the definition of a dictator. Walter Davis, what's up, my brother? Good to see ya. He says, good evening, all. I'm just leaving my daughter's house. Leaving my daughter's high school graduation. Well, congratulations, Walter's daughter. Fantastic graduation. That's beautiful, Walt. Amanda says, hi, Walter. Congratulations to your daughter. Amen. Kevin says, do not worry. Squatch for president. The way things are going, I'd be all right with that. A lot of people like to say that Donald Trump would be a dictator. Problem is he's already been president for 4 years. And not only was he not a dictator, but he also left on time when it was his time to go. Doesn't matter what he said, he did what was necessary. And the country was pretty good under him until COVID hit. So all the stuff they're saying about Donald Trump isn't exactly right. But he does have some flaws. Question is that matter for the president of the United States? Do you need to like the man for him to be a good president? No. Do you need to agree with his policies as long as they're doing good for the country? No. I didn't vote for him because I liked him. I voted for him because I thought he'd be a good businessman and run the country properly. And looked like he did. Gas was at like $1.50 when he left office. Dana says, congratulations, Walter Davis. Heart. April says, woohoo, congratulations to her, Walter. Yes, that's fantastic that she made it through graduation. What's next, college or work? It's a beautiful thing. Presumably, both of my children graduated. I haven't heard about the one, but I know the other one did and is in college now. That's something. April says, that is right. No, it does not matter. He's the best I've seen, just like Jake said. He's the best president in my lifetime. He's done some things that no other president would dare do, like crossing the DMZ without a security detail. Boss, he should have won a Nobel Peace Prize for that. Like the Abraham Accords, like putting the embassy in Jerusalem, which every president has promised, but only he did. Like peace in the Middle East. There was no wars going on. No new wars. The only conflicts that were happening had been happening since Bush. So, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, man. If he's got a shitty attitude, I can live with that. As long as there's peace and gas is relatively low and the roads are getting fixed, which is what government is for. Golly, we're getting old, Jake. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Walter says 5 out of 4. Or 5 by 4. 5 by 4 what? Kevin says, congratulations to you, Walter. You survived the teenage years, right? And April says, be right back, y'all. You go do your thing, honey. Yeah, those teenage years, they whip by real fast, but I really missed those years. So I had my children right on up till they were 13, 14 years old. I raised them from infants on up by myself. And then they went to be with their mother. So what they're doing now is beyond me. But those early teenage years are something else. That's when they start becoming people. Now, one thing you have to look for when thinking about presidential candidates is you have to have a memory. You have to look back, because it's easy to be in the here and now, and they deal in that. They trade on the here and now quite regularly. They like to gin people up and get people excited about things. But the truth is you can look back and see how things have occurred over the years and who was in office when they occurred. And I hate to say it, but every time a Democrat is in office, the government gets bigger and we lose more rights. Every time. And we end up in wars. Now, for a while, the Republicans were on board with that, too. They call them neocons, which basically that's left-wing, because that's left-wing agendas, whether it's right-wing people doing it or not. So, like Lindsey Graham, yes, he's a warmonger, too. He's one of those neoconservatives, one of those war-seeking people. SD says this guy acts like he knows it all. No, I don't. I act like I know what I know. And I'm very clear about that, SD. If you watch the channel for more than a minute, you'd know that I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you that I don't know everything. The first step to wisdom is admitting you know nothing at all, and you have a very little of a grasp on what's going on around you. But I do endeavor to peer through the veil and see what's actually there. And if you did that, you'd know that too. Trump did it on purpose. Did what on purpose, you moron? Did what on purpose? And he's the biggest hustler. You say that like being a hustler is a bad thing. Hustler is the reason he's a millionaire or a billionaire, according to him. Hustler is the reason his name is on buildings. Hustler is the reason he was a great president. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad quality for a president. First of all, in order to be a president, you have to be some kind of megalomaniacal personality in the first place. Who wants to run the country? There are a small group of people that do want to run the country. Those are usually always the wrong person because they want to run the country. They want the power. Donald Trump didn't run for president because he wanted power. He ran for president because everybody else was screwing it up and he thought he could do better. That's a rare thing. Ross Perot tried to do that back in the 90s. He got kicked out rather quickly. But had he been president, he'd have been the first Donald Trump. He'd have done the same things Donald Trump did. Try to fix the country. Problem is the country doesn't want to be fixed. There's a whole thing going on you're not even aware of called globalism. And they're doing it, and you're not a part of it. You're the recipient of it. You are the serf class. They are the elite class. And they're trying to further separate the divide between the two. Every now and then we'll get a president that actually cares about the country and wants the country to do well despite the rest of the world. That's a good president, the same good president you're talking trash about because you don't know what you're talking about. How about that? And Dana says, it is honorable to say, I don't know. And there are lots of things I say that about. In fact, if you watched my show for any length of time, you would marvel at the amount of times I stop the show to have something looked up to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, or I just completely don't know what it means. That's what a real person does when they're looking for truth. They don't blunder over it and pretend like they know what they're saying, like most people do. And Amanda said Trump did do way better. As far as what you're talking about, running this country, yes, he did way better. Being a globalist, he sucked at it. Which is why all of the globalists are trying to get rid of him. Here's where I stand and where over 50% of the country stands. We don't care what's happening in the rest of the world. That's none of our business. That's their country, not our country. That is not how the elites see it. Kevin says, time for dessert. Bourbon and Reese's. That's a good dessert, Kev. What's the matter, SD? No more snarky comebacks? My guess is you've got about enough brain cell to throw an insult. I doubt very seriously you have any kind of formidable argument, which I will gladly take on with half my brain tied behind my back and one eye closed. Bring it on. Listen to me very carefully. I got hit in the head with a buzzard yesterday at 50 miles an hour. A buzzard the size of a turkey. It was not pleasant. I have a headache. You follow me? Ross Perot divided the country while running for president. He divided the Republican votes, and that's why the Democrats claimed the victory. Very bad move. That is true. And the reason that happened is because he ran third party, because he did not want to represent as a Republican or a Democrat. Now, in the game of who's going to win, that is a bad move. You're absolutely right. And he did not divide the country. Everybody was on board with what he was saying. He divided the votes of the country. That's a bad move, and you're absolutely right about that. Had he been able to pull it off, and by the way, this is what RFK is trying to do right now. Same thing Ross Perot tried to do. RFK is a Democrat whom I think is a great guy. I think he'd be a great president. Here's the problem with RFK. He's a Democrat, which means he'll go soft on Democrat values. He'll let Democrats vote in favor. He'll be in favor of their votes. And the Democrats that are doing the voting are batshit crazy, mind-lost, mind virus people. And because he's a Democrat, that will be a thing. That's the only reason I would never vote for RFK. The only reason. Because him personally, I think he'd be a great president. He's a Kennedy, for God's sakes. His dad was a great president and more Republican than most of the Republicans, by the way. They called it Democrat back then, but they had right-leaning values, which is what the conservatives now are calling their values, right-leaning values. Right-leaning does not mean conservative. The British have it right. We call it a different thing, but they kind of do it the right way there. Right and left means something different in Britain than it does here. And it should mean that same thing here, but it seems to not. Is the buzzard okay? Animal rights people are concerned. I think the buzzard survived. But I will tell you one thing I learned about buzzards. They are not fluffy. It was like being punched by a full heavyweight boxer at 50 miles an hour. The entire front of my head is sore to the touch. He hit me right here. There was about 4 of them on the side of the road as I was going to work. And they all, when they heard my bike coming, they all flew up and they went in different directions. And this one went that way and then turned around and flew right towards me. And there was nothing I could do except duck. And I lowered my head and he hit me right on the forehead. Amanda says, geez, Kev. and you go, Jake, right? It's a stupid game, says Dana. I agree. I agree, but that's the game they're playing, and all I'm doing is talking about it. I didn't make up the game, so don't equate stupidity with me. I'm just saying. I know you're not, but for other people that might be listening, I'm just talking about the game that's being played. I don't agree with it. That's just the game that we're involved in. Kevin Cox says his dad was a senator. His uncle was the president. Okay. Whatever. He was still he's in that family, right? That's what I meant to say. I don't know who he is. I know he's involved in that family. He might be Marilyn Monroe's love child for all I know. He's a Kennedy. He'd be a good president, I think. But I can't vote for him because I don't agree with democratic values. And I'm talking about the fringe stuff, not the typical everyday liberal values. In my mind, liberal and Democrat are not the same thing. And also, liberal and leftist are not the same thing. Leftist is as far as you can go that way. Kevin says, I'm watching women's softball. If the pitcher for Texas hits you instead of the buzzard, then you would be. What's the fan look like, Kev? Dana says, we need thinkers, not politicians and their stupid ideologies. I also agree with that sentiment. I think that we'd be way better off if we had some of those. Unfortunately, we don't. The closest thing we got is Donald Trump. And believe it or not, despite what everybody says about Donald Trump, he is quite intelligent. And he knows this world game better than anybody. He plays it like a finely tuned fiddle. And that's true. I don't know if I like that about him, but it is true that he knows how to play this game. He's quite good at it. Now, what you see of Donald Trump on TV is an act. I'm certain of that. It disarms people or it infuriates people. It gets you in a position he wants you to be in, this bolsterous one-liner thing that he does. But I've heard him talk with people at a table, like face-to-face. He's very articulate, very well-spoken, and he knows what he's talking about. He could do math off the top of his head like nobody's business. Ronald Fu says, definitely learn the system. That's right. Hey, Ronald, welcome to the show. I don't know if I like that about Donald Trump as far as being a person, that he's so good at the game. He's got an inside track on how the game is played with world leaders everywhere. He can go up and talk to the leader of China and not start a war. That's pretty impressive. We can't do that. Anyway, I think it's probably a necessary thing for a president to have, though, that quality. Trump is like an American Netanyahu when it comes to being tough. Time to elect the ass. Well, I can't disagree with you there. And Amanda says, and Trump can't be sentenced. And Trump can be, oh, sorry. I can read. I'm not having a stroke. And Trump can form a sentence without cue cards and can walk off stage in the right direction and not fall off of his bike. Amen. Yeah. All of that stuff you hear Biden saying, the State of the Union and all the speeches he does, he's reading from a teleprompter that someone else prepared for him because he cannot talk by himself. Everything you've heard Donald Trump say, even when he's reading from the teleprompter, is off the cuff. And if you don't believe that, you go get transcripts of the speeches that he does and read them along with the speech, and you'll just see how many times he goes off script. He follows the talking points, but everything he says is off the top of his head. And for better or worse, regardless of what you think, that's a good thing to have because you don't have to wonder about what he's thinking. He's going to tell you. Trump doesn't have Kamala. Thank God he does not have Kamala. If that woman gets elected president, we might as well just hang up our gloves. It's over. Ronald said periods included, right? And yes, Kevin says Amanda, and Dana says Trump knows how to read his crowd. Amen. His supporters. He knows what they want to hear. Correct. Which is a good thing for a politician to know. I think secretly everybody's probably jealous of him for that because he can rile up a crowd like nobody's business. If you don't believe that, go watch a Joe Biden rally and see what it looks like. And then go watch a Trump rally and see what it looks like. Two different things. He has weaponized his brand. That's the best way I know to put it. He wields it like a sword. Which is why I say it's an act. Because as a person who has an act, I know about putting things together over time that work, you know. Like when I do a show, I say the same joke in the same place every show I play because it's a different audience. I'm used to hearing it, but they're not. It's spontaneous and funny to them, but it's a different audience. So I just build up those things over time, and then I put a show together. Every moment of the show has a thing. There's crescendos and soft places and exciting spots, and, you know, it's a show. Same thing I do here, but with words. Now, Trump does that masterfully, and he keeps people engaged. I don't know why anybody dislikes that guy. In fact, they didn't used to. He used to be beloved. He was in movies and cameos just because he was Trump. Every rapper on planet Earth wanted to be Trump. Trump was everywhere. Had a hit TV show for 10 years. He went to all the high people's weddings. He went to Hillary Clinton's daughter's wedding. Then he ran for president, and then all of a sudden, overnight, everybody hated him. There's some weirdness in that, just in that. Ronald says, Trump has been saying the same thing well before running for president. Yes, he was talking about it in the 80s, the same thing he's running on now. So he has a plan. He does know what he's doing. Trump fills a room with people outside. Biden can't pull 100 people, says Amanda. Well, he might can pull 100, but he ain't filling up a auditorium, I can tell you that. Trump will fill up an airport. Trump is so big, stadiums ain't big enough. Dana says, unfortunately, many people are driven by emotions and not by rational thinking. Amen, sister. That is true. That is the worst way to run a country, is emotionally. Yeah, with people waiting outside, says Amanda. Ronald says, from a businessman's perspective, he had to dislike the lack of American jobs and see them going overseas. Yes. And if you'll notice, The first thing he did, the first month he was in office, he was bringing companies back to America. He had an air conditioning company and a car company and all kinds of these. He was going to factories and having them reopen. And then people started getting crazy about it. The bottom line got into effect, and he listened to the wrong people, and he kind of went away from that. Well, Trump has the benefit of having been in Washington for 4 years now. He knows the bad actors. He did not know them when he came in. He thought that everybody served at the pleasure of the president, which is what we all think. That isn't true. That's not true. The president is a figurehead. He's a spokesman, but the real power is behind the scenes, what we call the deep state now, which we only know about because Donald Trump illuminated it. We didn't know about that 10, 15 years ago. 10, 15 years ago, we didn't know who the Speaker of the House was or any Congress member's name or anything like that. We didn't know what they stood for or what their little parties were. Now we do, because Donald Trump turned it into a soap opera so that everybody could see what was happening behind the scenes. That's 100% Donald Trump's doings, and nobody talks about it, so I'll talk about it. Have to get up early. Good night, says Kev. Good night, Kev. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate it. God bless you and sleep well. So true, says Ronald. Well, for all of his faults, and he is a faulted man. I'm not trying to say Donald Trump's a savior. He's not a hero. He's just a good businessman who is probably the best candidate for the job of running the president that we have right now. If there was somebody better, I'd say so, but there's not. And everybody else that is running has problems they can't overcome. The biggest one is Joe Biden, and everybody's beginning to see that now. That's why people are flipping and going towards Trump in droves. His numbers have gone up every day since his conviction. Every day, with no sign of stopping in sight. His donations are overboard. He made $250 million in 48 hours and rising. That's more than Joe Biden has made since April in donations. Way more. He joined TikTok the other night when he went to the UFC fight. That night he joined TikTok. And in 24 hours he had amassed 4 million viewers. Joe Biden has been paying influencers to build his TikTok, which he has had since he's been in office, and he's got like 3,000 viewers. But yet he won 81 million votes. There are only 350 million people in the country, give or take a few million illegals. And out of that 350 million people, only about 100 million of them vote. And out of that 100 million, only about 90 of them actually go to the polls during a primary. So about 90 million people vote in total. Well, Trump got 48%, 49%, 43%, somewhere around there, which is the way it's always been. Every presidential election I've ever seen, it's divided between 40 and 50. That nobody ever is never 50-50. It's usually a little on one side or a little on the other. And then popular vote is considered, and then the Electoral College decides who the president is. In this case, it was the same thing, except at 4:30 in the morning, the votes stopped. They called it a night, and then they opened 2 hours later, unbeknownst to anybody. And I was watching the polls when it happened, and Trump was leading, and Joe Biden was down here. And it was going like that, straight across. And then at 4:30, it went boop. And then Biden had 81 million votes. Now, I don't know what caused that, but I can replay. I could go find the poll that shows you that it happened. But I don't know what caused that, and I'm not suggesting I do. But Biden got 81 million votes. Trump was still at about 43%. I'll give 43 because I can't remember the exact number. That's more than 10 million votes, by the way. That's about half of them. So where did that rest of those votes come from? 81 million, and half of them do not make 100%. That makes like 180%, 130%, something like that. Something's wrong. That's all I know. Ronald says, what a great election in 2020. 110%. That's it, 110% voter turnout. Yeah. Yeah, that's more than 100% is what I'm saying. 300,000 in Pennsylvania for Brandon, right? Yeah, it was kind of strange how that happened. And then after a year or so after the election, they found all these votes that were just laying there that didn't get counted, and they were all for one guy. Too late now. I mean, Biden is our president. As long as he's in office, I'll respect him for being president. But he don't need to be there any longer. So we need to all get out and vote. Every single one of us that are in this country need to vote. Vote your conscience. Vote your intellect. Vote your heart. Vote your wallet. But vote. They come from graves, says Amanda. Well, that's hearsay and nonsense, and YouTube will tell you you're absolutely wrong. It was a free and fair election, and there's no way possible anyone could have ever cheated. It is not possible to hack voter machines that are hooked up to the internet. Dana says, I am skeptical about polls. Always have been. I don't pay any attention to their numbers. Well, you should be skeptical of polls because polls come from that party's pollsters. And they have, like, say they call 100 people. And then they get the numbers of those 100 people. And then they extrapolate that for the rest of the country. The rest of the country doesn't necessarily have to fall that way. That's just what the polls say. A lot of it has to do with economics. A lot of it has to do with the way that the stock market is running. And a lot of it has to do with what those pollsters say. So all polls everywhere are skewed because you're only getting a select sliver of answers. You should be skeptical. I don't even know why we use polls, but I guess they're a good indicator of who might be ahead based on popular opinion of 100 people or so. I don't know. But they use the polls religiously, so I have to use them too. But I'll go with my gut, and I'll tell you, I think Donald Trump's 100% a shoo-in for this election. That's my opinion. I think he's going to win in a landslide. I think there's not even going to be a contest. I think he's going to win so overwhelmingly that even if they cheat, it won't be enough. He'll overflow them with a win. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But I could be wrong. I could just be biased and partisan, which I don't think that I am. I'm a realist. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm conservative leaning, but I'm a little bit myself, independent, I guess you would say. But I'm not part of the independent party either. I'm not a libertarian. I'm fiscally conservative. I'm religiously conservative. Other than that, I kind of go all over the place. But I'm smart enough to know what's good for me. And I'm smart enough not to bite the hand that feeds me. So that's where I stand. Anybody else got any ideas of where they stand? I'm open for it. I'll listen. If you can change my mind, it is changeable. I don't know everything. I know what I know. And I'm good at what I know. Hopefully that's enough for you to keep listening. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I'm some kind of omnipresent scholar. I am a scholar, but only just. But I do know things. And I do have the inside track on a couple of things. And those are the things I talk about. But yeah, Dana, you got every right to be skeptical of polls. Ronald says, I'll go for the man who brought some light to our corrupt government. Amen. Me too. I think not only is that a great idea, but also the man that relatively had peace on earth while he was in office. I like that idea too. I like the America First policy, even though I'm not naive enough to think that that's how the world works, because we do live in a world full of globalists and elitists. However, I like the America First idea. If you're going to run for this country's office, then you should have this country in mind when you run it. I'm not saying that the rest of the world shouldn't have their due. Your leader should do that. Dana, you're in the Czech Republic. Your leader. Who's your leader, by the way? I don't even know who the leader of that area is. Whoever that is should have you first in their mind. First and foremost, they should do what's good for you and not worry about what's good for me, because I'm in a different country. I don't like the idea of America being the world's police. I don't think that's a good idea. I like the fact that we're a superpower, but I like that because we're strong through peace. Peace through strength. That's what I like. I think we should be tough enough that nobody wants to mess with us, but I don't think we should go around wagging it like we're somebody. You know, look at me, I'm the big guy on the block. Stay out of their countries. Let's bring the troops back into our country and protect our borders. That's what I think. I'm not running for president, though. You're right. We are not a damn democracy, says Amanda. No. Anybody that uses the phrase, our democracy, is a traitor. Read the Constitution. We live in a constitutional republic. That's what it was set up to be. That's what it's always been. It's in the Pledge of Allegiance, which is much, much, much older than me. And at some point, after the Pledge of Allegiance was made, they are smart enough to put God in it. So even God's in there. Anybody that says separation of church and state, first of all, don't know what they're talking about. And second of all, don't realize that that is not in the Constitution. That is from the Federalist Papers that were a bunch of letters written back and forth between politicians questioning things. But it is not law. Our founding documents are law. That is the world we live in, not a democracy. We are democratically elected, but once elected, it's a republic. Kevin Cox says, remember, tomorrow is June 6th, 2024, the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Thank God for those who were there and kept freedom alive. Good night. Thank God. Amen for that. And God bless all of those that are still alive from that time. And all of those who have since passed on, God bless you too. Thank you for your service. Amanda says, God should be in everything regardless. I agree, 100%. The founding fathers were smart enough to know that. They were smart enough to infuse the document with Christian ideals. We have certain rights that are inalienable. They are given to us by our Creator and cannot be infringed by man. Not shall not, cannot. They will not be infringed. It's not up for debate. You can't take these rights away. And those rights are in the Constitution and in the amendments and all of that stuff. The Bill of Rights, all of that. And Amanda says, yes, Kevin, and thanks, and good night. And Dana says, our quote-unquote leader is a deplorable figure who doesn't have in his interest the people of the nation. He is a prostitute who sold his soul to international oligarchy interests. So is ours. Our current leader is exactly that. You're absolutely right. That is what I call a globalist elitist. They are the people that go to the Council of Foreign Relations and all of that stuff. Go to the Bilderberg group. Those people are trying to run the world. They don't care about you. You are cattle to them. That's not the person I want running the country. I want those people to go away. The Klaus Schwabs and the George Soroses, and those people need to go away. And I hope, Dana, that you guys can elect a leader that will be as good for your country as I think Donald Trump will be for ours, if we can get past all the hatred that was sown by the past couple of presidents. Walter says, Linda and I are now home. All right, Walter. Tell Linda I said hello, by the way. And glad you guys made it home safely. Colin Hill, the Biddle. Hello, everyone. I'm at the Dairy Queen. All right, Colin, get an ice cream for me. It's really hot here. My grandpa had a stroke a week ago. I'm sorry to hear that, Colin. Amanda says hello. Is he doing okay? Is he back on his foot? Sorry. Glad y'all made it in, Walter. Made it home safe. Hi, Linda, says Amanda. And Walter says, hi, Jake, Dana, SD, April, Kevin, and Colin. And Colin says, can I have ice cream? I can't have an ice cream. Why not? Is it too late for an ice cream? Is that what you're saying? Or are you lactose intolerant? Because if you are, don't worry about it. DQ uses something that isn't really ice cream. I forget what they call it. Lactose intolerant? Yes. Lactose intolerant. You mean intolerant? Yes. All right. Well, the stuff that they make the ice creams out of at Dairy Queen is not ice cream. So you should be able to eat that. I forget what it's called. Does anybody know? I can't remember now. They call it something else, like soft serve is what they call it, because it's not ice cream. It's ice cream flavored ice is what it is. I got me a number 5. I guess that's good. It's not a number 1, but it's a number 5. I haven't been to Dairy Queen since I was a little boy, so I don't even know what they serve there anymore, except ice cream. It's kind of in the name. Dana says there are non-political leaders. The men become weak and sissified sold-outs. I hear you. Non-political leaders. All right. Yeah, I understand that. The feminizing of men has been going on for the last 20 years. One of the things that's going to be in an upcoming Hyperbole that I'm going to put out here shortly is a guy named Yuri Bezmenov, who is a Russian defector that came over here in 1984 and defected to America. And he had a tell-all book that he wrote, and he went on to talk shows and all of that, selling his book. And some of the stuff he talked about is happening now. He talked about it 30 years ago, 35 years ago. He said it would take 20 years or 25 years to make it happen. And he laid it out. And he said all the things that we've experienced over the past, since 9/11. And so he is absolutely right about everything he said. I strongly suggest you check out Yuri Bezmenov or wait for the Hyperbole to come out because it's going to be informative. Walter says if Ross Perot didn't take the summer off, he might have won. He might have. I know they were awful nervous about him, both parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, and they did not want him to run. Amanda says Dairy Queen's soft serve don't have the 10% butter fat in it like regular soft serve. It only has 5% butter fat. Well, that should be even less ice creamy. Walter says, if Kennedy wins, kiss oil gasoline away. Guns will be gone and agriculture will end and we will eat Soylent Green. That's a good movie, Soylent Green. You should watch that. Other than that, he's a good guy. Exactly, Walter, which is why I can't vote for him. Because he would be a great president. Problem is he's a Democrat. And Democrats are Democrat first. And he would allow all these crazy Democrats to put all their bills through, and they would go through because he wouldn't stop them. So that's why I won't vote for a Democrat ever, not any Democrat, even if I like them, and I like them. And I wouldn't have voted for Tulsi Gabbard, and I love Tulsi Gabbard. I think she is fantastic. That's the girl I want to be the first woman president. But she was a Democrat. Now, she left the Democrat Party and has since seen the evil of their ways and is now going the other direction. So now I would vote for her. But before I was like, nope, not going to do it. Can't do it. And if you're smart, you won't do it either. No Democrats. Ever. For any reason. We need to stamp that out. If you're smart. If you want to live in the world as it is, by all means. But that's my opinion, and I'm wrong. So, ask YouTube. They'll tell you. Ronald says, we'll be watching videos by Nicole Kidman on how to eat worms, right? Yeah, eat your bugs and be happy. You'll own nothing and be happy. Drive this electric car that you have to charge on the... Maybe we need to think about that one. Colin says, I think factory-made steak is BS. I agree, 100%, Colin. Nope, steak needs to be made on the back of a cow, and that's the only way to make a steak. Amanda says, if it's made in a factory, it's not steak. Just saying. Right, Ronald? Walter says, Kennedy really believes what he preaches, but it's not my cup of Kool-Aid. I hear you, buddy. Me too. I mean, I like RFK. I do. I like him. I think he's a great dude. He's well built. He's in shape. He knows his stuff. And he's right about all that vaccine stuff he talks about. But on the edges, he's still a Democrat. And he still leans in that direction. And I can't go with it. I just can't. Curious Squirrel says, there is some interesting info about different kinds of milk and lactose intolerance on the Amos Miller Organic Farm website. Thank you, Curious Squirrel. That's very informative, Colin. If you want to check out Amos Miller Organic Farm website, they'll tell you all you need to know about being lactose intolerant and probably some nifty ways around that. Amanda says, hi, Squirrel, and I say, hi, Squirrel. Colin says, I used to eat roly-polies. Yuck. Ronald says, pick a house for the night, right? Or a cubicle, because that's about all you'll be able to afford. Walter Davis says, hi, Squirrel. Roly-polies, I got you, Colin. I got you back. Curious Squirrel says, click the blog tab and look for A2A2 milk. I'll look into that, Curious Squirrel. I'm interested to find out myself. And Ronald says 100%. What about Rand Paul? I like Rand Paul. I think he's a good dude. I don't think he's president material, but I think he's a good dude. I like him where he's at, actually. We need people like him in Congress. Or in Senate, whatever he is. Curious Squirrel says, hi, Amanda. That's like Vivek Ramaswamy. I think Vivek Ramaswamy is one powerful dude. I think he's got a great voice. He's boisterous. He's energetic. He'd make a great president. But I think he'd be more powerful outside of Washington, D.C. I think he needs a podcast or something like that. Some kind of media. He's actually looking into buying BuzzFeed as we speak. I don't know if he's going to make it or not, or if they'll accept his offer. But that's what he needs to do. He needs to be in the political speech area because he's really good at that. I think Tulsi Gabbard makes a better VP, in my opinion. And I think Donald Trump would bring in that vote from the people he can't get if he had Tulsi Gabbard as VP. I think she makes a better common sense pick for VP than any of the other candidates. Plus, she served in the military, so if Trump dies or gets, deleted, we got a real president in office that's actually served in the military and actually knows what being a president means. Amanda says, I watched the video the other night of a Tesla broke down. Someone stopped to help him, and he said he needed gas for his generator in the trunk to run his car. I don't know if it was a joke or true, though. It was a joke, but it's not that far out of the realm of reality because a Tesla is a fully electric car. And you have to charge that car off the grid. There is no other way to charge it. So you're using fossil fuels whether you want to or not. It's a cope is what it is. Electric cars are not a real solution to any problem. It's something that people do to make themselves look better, but they're still using the same technology as before. So just buy a gas car and be done with it. Walter says Trump is real when he's on TV. I know people who know him, right? Amanda says it was funny. Yep. Curious Squirrel says, hey, Walter. Walter says Trump goes to jail with a dozen armed guards. He will unite the gangs and take over the county if he goes to jail. I don't doubt that. I think he probably would do. If they send him to Riker, he'd be running Riker. I believe that. Rikers. Gangs. Dana says, the quote-unquote labels, such as Democrat versus Republican, is a compartmentalization in its best, which is meant to divide the people and hate one another. Fake paradigms, both sides of the same coin. That's right. I say it all the time, Dana. Left wing, right wing, same bird. And you are right. All of the false dichotomies in the world are meant to divide you, to keep you off your feet, to keep you making what you think are fair and free choices, but they're really providing you with both answers. They don't even consider the third choice. They don't let you consider the third choice or the fourth choice. They give you two choices and tell you one's better than the other, and then let you fight it out amongst yourselves. And when you get old enough that you can see that happening, which you can't see when you're young because you're inundated by all the products and stuff and all the messaging. But when you begin to see it and you learn a little bit about spells and how people can cast spells with their wizardry, and then you start to see it play out, you begin to realize that you live in a carefully crafted facade that's carefully crafted and placed in front of your eyes to keep you busy. You know, in the bread and circuses of it all. Because that's the way the world is. It's fake. Everything is bullshit, and you need to know about it. That's why I'm here to tell you about it, one piece at a time. We're not going to cover it all tonight. We're not going to cover it all this year. But I will tell you about it. I've learned a lot of things. I don't know everything, but I see. I see clearly. I'm not in the matrix. And if you want to be out of it, listen. And I'm not even asking you to believe me. Just listen. Listen, and then look around. And when you see that I'm right, come back and tell me so, because I like feeling like I'm right. All right, boys and girls, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's right in front of you. It's effortless, and it really does help the channel with the algorithms. It helps us get recommended to other people. Won't you do that, please? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid as long as you're thinking critical. That's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you like what you've heard tonight and you'd like to show a little bit of love, consider hitting that super chat button in the chat box. That helps a lot. I appreciate it. And if you want to be a little bit more substantial, you can go to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband. Or if you're a Cash App user, you can go to $jakejohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing to me. But it's a blessing to you too, because God notices these things. Now, I would like to invite you to consider joining the channel to get the meat. I talk openly about the honey and the milk right here on the channel. But if you want the meat, you got to join, because that's private. I'll do everything in my power to answer all your questions and comments, as I always do, right now. Dana says, divide and conquer is their agenda. An ultimate goal. People are falling for the trap without thinking. Very, very true. Walter says, Trump said he would drain the swamp and expose the monsters. He did. It's up to us to do something about it. We haven't. You're right. And I'm sure that if he wasn't fighting the entire apparatus, all of the people in Washington, all of the media, and all of the pundits on the internet were against him. All of the stars, all of the comedians, all of the actors, all of the everybody was against Donald Trump the whole way through. And if he had not had to fight that and could actually be president and actually enact some of the things he had in mind, imagine where we'd be right now. Imagine what he would have gotten done had he not had to spend his whole presidency fighting impeachment, hoax, and nonsense all the way through. Maybe this time around, they'll just leave him alone and let him be president. He's only got 4 years. Maybe in that 4 years, he can set up the MAGA movement, which will last many, many years beyond him. Maybe not. Maybe it's a calm before the inevitable storm. Maybe we'll have 4 years of reprieve from the nonsense that you can clearly see is happening under the Democratic rule right here in the world around us. If they're allowed to continue, it will get worse, and it will keep getting worse. It's up to you. You got to vote. I'm just a pundit. I just talk nonsense. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm wrong 90% of the time. Ask YouTube. Anyway, come check me out on Friday, where my voice should feel better, I hope. Maybe I'll sing you a song if I can, and if not, as promised, I'll play you one. How about this?
Skies and fireworks, people laugh, people flirt all night long. But I just stay. So I drove down to the local bar where people come in their fancy cars to play their games. But I just stay.
Yeah.
Then I saw you sitting there, all alone in that empty chair right next to you. I fell in love. Oh, baby. Just one kiss, I don't care what you say. I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away.
Master guitarist Jake Johnson.
At that bar where we first met, you smiled at me and my palms got wet, and you just looked away. But I just stayed. You said, been in love and it never works. I always end up getting hurt, and I ain't doing that no more. There ain't no way. Oh, no, 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 no. stood up to say goodbye, grabbed your hand with a tear in my eye, and I just walked away. But you just stayed.
Why do you like that so much?
But you looked down and you took my hand and said, boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. I got my life and all my plans, and if you were there, you'd just be in my way. Girl, it ain't gotta be like this. I'd give you everything but just one kiss, and I don't care what you say. I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away.
There you go. A little bit of Jake Johnson for you. All right. Questions, comments, criticisms, catharses, anything you want to say before I go? Because I got to get up early in the morning. Go to work. Ronald says, at some point, the world will become one world government. But who knows when? It might have already happened, Ronald. Absolutely love that song. It's a #1 hit for sure, says Amanda. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Maybe it'll get around and people will like it. We'll see. That's kind of what I do, though. I hope you enjoyed it. Dana, that was just for you because you didn't hear it when I played it the first time. Y'all have a great night, says Ronald. Ronald, come back to see us on Friday, buddy. Nice to have you here. Thanks for the conversation. I'm going to go to bed now. Thank you all so much for being here. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for putting up with my diatribe and the rough start we had when we got started because I tried something new and it didn't work. It'll be better on Friday, I promise. Have a great night. God bless you all. May his blessings abound in your lives, and may his grace light your footsteps every which way you want to go. Do me a favor while you're out there going. Stop and be nice to somebody. Do that. Just be nice. That's it. It doesn't take anything, doesn't cost anything, doesn't mean anything. Just be nice and watch it change your life. I promise you it will. All right. I'll see you guys on Friday night. Thanks for watching.